Now on part 5, the World Trade Center disaster research in relation to this serious fraud. We need to get this information out there, guys. Please keep contacting me. I've had loads of people contacting me. They all have these documents now. Get them circulated far and wide. We need this information to be out there in the public domain. So there's nothing the government can do to get rid of it. Okay. At the moment, I think it's already gone past the point of if they do anything to me, it's still the truth is there. They're not going to be able to remove it. But let's look at research in relation to BlackRock. I'm not going to read all of this. I'll just let you read it. But they are the certainly one of the world's largest asset management companies, with a $9.42 million worth of assets. Lots of controversy surrounding them. Again, you can pause this and look at it and do your own research. Lots of controversy surrounding them in relation to weapons manufacturing companies, and as we know, that links in with my research. Illegal weapons manufacturing companies that are using supplying weapons to countries around the world, no doubt being used in Gaza at the moment. That means it's a crime. If the money has been obtained to pay for those weapons through this criminal system, through the taxation system, then it's a crime. Okay, so that's just a bit of research in relation to BlackRock. Let's get that centralized. And if you just can read through this bit in your own time, I'll just slow it so you can pause it. Go slowly. This just explains what's coming up. So we're going to look at some more BlackRock companies which link through. So this is all now linked through the fraudulent system. From the World Trade Center. And they're all very quick links, remember. Very, very quick. There's over 5 million companies. And yet we're really quickly linking into fraudulent documents, fraudulent registrations, unincorporated documents and companies. Here we go. BlackRock World Mining Investment Company Limited. They were established in 1993, according to this is the Company's House Records. And surprise, they were incorporated with Swift Incorporations Limited. On the left there, you can see that. And Jordan's on the right. Same address. So I just paused it to clean the screen. Look at the Company's House Records now. Or BlackRock. Just redacted some addresses from there, shouldn't have to. Public documents. And the London Law Agency, you see, is on their incorporation document on the left. That is linked through to Max Clifford, Jeffrey Epstein, the High Elm Youth Project movement. Back from the 1930s, it's still trading now under the name High Elm. Linked to Max Clifford, like I said, Jeffrey Epstein. Very quickly through their research. See, they've got previous companies' names here. Look at when this changed. September 2000. Changed its name. Was Merrill Lynch. What's it called now? BlackRock Group. So it used to be Merrill Lynch. And then changed its name in 2000. So it used to be Mercury Asset. Sorry, I do apologise. It used to be Mercury Asset. Changed its name in September 2000. To Merrill Lynch, and then again in 2006. Hasn't changed its name since, and that was still an active company. And you can see they are linked to Slaughter and May. Again, they have false unregistered incorporation documents. Now we're linking through to shell companies. It all links through to gas and oil very quickly. Finsbury Square address, you see the sharing address is all the way through this fraud. And like most, if not all gas and oil companies, they have an unregistered incorporation document. You can see that there. Shell company. That's the incorporation document when it was incorporated, but the register has not been updated to reflect that. That means they are trading unlawfully. Links through to Libya Oil Sudan Limited, an old company from 1924. So this should be on their incorporation document here. See, 1924. Have a look at the incorporation document. No, completely different company name. And you can see that the address is... trying to see the address. 1924. It's quite hard to see, but that does say 1924. So same address, same date. Okay. Attached to the register, but they put a false company name. This isn't a hack. This is company's house. You can see, different company name altogether. I know this is very, try not to be downhearted about all of this. We've all known something has been wrong with the world. The fact we now know what is wrong is a massive relief, because it now means we can put it right. And we can get this world to a better place. It's absolutely possible. We just need to get rid of, or they need to step down, these corrupt individuals that are making all these decisions. Shell Tankers UK Limited, incorporated in 1912. So remember, this has been going on before the war, and we'll come to that later. An unregistered incorporation document. Okay. Remember, I pointed this out to all the authorities, the fraudulent bank documents. They're refusing to get banks evidential statements from the bank. Why would you refuse that? They're clearly forged. It's in the public interest. Okay, the Home Office refused to intervene. Politicians are linked all the way through this. The information on the Ham and High article shows that these addresses being used is linked to international fraud to do with politicians and taxation. The game's up, guys. Game's up. You need to come out of the dark and into the light. Save yourselves, my goodness me, from your own corruption and greed. See, this company changed its name in January 2023. So from 100 years, and then suddenly it changed its name. After I reported the fraud, it changed its name. Okay, and the incorporation document does not match at all. Yeah. I know this is long-winded, but it is not only is it important for you to see it, the public, it's important for the government to know that it's out there. And that's what's going to get things changing, because they know they'll be in serious trouble. And what we really want is the police. Yeah, in an ideal world, you want them to all step down from power, those involved in this. You need to get a new transparent system in place. Because if they don't do that and do the right things, then it's going to end up getting very messy. The next thing is you want the police to step in, because they have a power to go and arrest these people with this evidence. They have to have reasonable grounds to suspect. Okay, now there's more than enough evidence with these research documents to go and bring these people into custody. If they care about their children's future in this world, and that's what needs to happen, then that's what's going to happen. All right, and that will save any violence with the public. Get in there, arrest these people, investigate them. Don't worry about what get a few of you together who are decent police officers. Have the conversations and do something about this. The army, don't stand up for the government. Look at what they're part of. And we need you to be on board with this so that it can be dealt with peacefully. It can be done. BlackRock Real Estate Opportunity Fund, incorporated in 2007. They are linked to Jordan's Limited on the right, and all of these BlackRock companies. So that means financial interest, all able to use the system of fraud now, so you can move money between accounts, avoid tax, but also use money that's laundered from elsewhere. And remember, there's real estate all the way through this. Real estate companies linked all the way through. So now here, the person within BlackRock is linked to Dutch Private Asset Management, and they're care of Interpath. Interpath links through to research regarding the former prime ministers. I believe you look through documents, I think it was David Cameron and Tony Blair. Links to Interpath. My goodness me, what are they doing? Dissolved in 2023, even though they were operating since 1987. They're panicking, you see. They're starting to dissolve all the way around. You can see there, 1999, it changed its name from Morgan Grenfell Trust Managers Limited to a Dutch Investment Trust Managers. And then again in 2004. Haven't changed its name since. Links through to Dutch nominees. Okay, it links through to this person. Again, this is a duplicate record within a company. So you can see same person, clearly the same person. Same middle name within the same company. And yet Companies House have linked 145 companies to one and one to another. It should all be under the same record. Oh dear. Dutch European is linked to KPMG. Address in, again, features frequently this, Salisbury Square. KPMG. I should be glad when I don't have to do this. I tell you, my eyes. Okay, then from that company goes through. This person's got 1,198 companies linked to them, either current or previous. It links through to KPMG again, linked to page funding. Okay, there's lots of mention of KPMG. So we're going to look at KPMG now. We've touched on them in other videos as well because it all links in very quickly with the same companies, all overlapping from every area of this fraud. Politicians, Nicola Bulley, Jeffrey Epstein, Madeleine McCann, my company, fraudulent documents, fraudulent registrations, Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, Robert Maxwell, Keir Starmer links through. He links through, as you've seen from the other video, links through to the Madeleine McCann company very quickly. No Stone Unturned fund. If you can look at that, you'll see through the death penalty company that he was linked to. OYZ. On the right, on the top there, that's linked through to Jeffrey Epstein Stationery's company. Slaughter and May, again. It's all the same companies. I worked out, I think I've saved, because I've got all of these documents backed up, supported. I think there's 1,000 companies that are linked through that I've saved all of the incorporation documents. Bearing in mind there's 5 million companies over, and yet it all comes down to the ones I've looked at, it appears. I mean, there'll be a lot more involved, of course, but these are the most important companies. Dissolved, linked to Interpath, dissolved in 2023. Okay, you can see they're panicking with all of this. Jordan's Limited on the left. Bank of America. Okay, so now this is the biggest tenant of the World Trade Center at the time. And are they lawfully trading? Are they lawfully trading? No, of course they're not. And they're linked to Waterlows as well. Bank of America, National Trust. Now I anticipate what they're going to do, or what they were planning certainly was going to be, the information suggests they were going to try and plan, say that there was a cyber attack to shut down all the electrical systems. It's too late for that now. Marsh & McLennan, okay, we'll come to them in a minute. You can see Marsh & McLennan links through from Bank of America. They're another tenant, the World Trade Center. Looking at Marsh & McLennan. Links through, this is important, to Brecon Holdings Limited. Okay, so Brecon is a place in Wales. So very quickly, Bank of America links to Brecon Holdings. Now you can read through this at your leisure, this bit. It's just explaining what's coming up. You can pause now on that. And pause on that. Actually, that would have been a better way to have done that, wouldn't it? So let's look at Brecon Holdings Limited. You can see they were incorporated with Swift Incorporations Limited. Is it? Oh no, my apologies. It's not actually. Reed Smith Corporate Services Limited. Oh. Not the best facilities to do this. Now this is linked through to all of the issues you're seeing, okay? The Royal Mail scandal was linked through to this. The Fujitsu scandal, Horizon scandal thing. The Teesside fraud investigation with Ben Houchen. Michael Gove, unfortunately, is linked through to this system of fraud. Why he's not doing his job investigating him. Michelle Moan, the PPE scandal. David Cameron and the Green Seal scandal. Pretty much everything that you're seeing, scandals, all linked through to this system of fraud. That's how big it is. So you can see we've linked here, come from the Bank of New York. We're now in through all of these pharmaceutical companies, okay? Makes a lot of money, doesn't it, pharmaceuticals? Let's face it. Would they want people to get better if they're making millions in this fraud by having ill people? Think about that. You've already got cancer research and cancer companies all linked through to this fraud. And there's more information on that later. But amongst all these pharmaceutical companies, you've got Brecon Pharmaceuticals, Wimbledon Trustees Limited. And suddenly you've got Wimbledon in there. So let's look at that company. And they are linked to Oval nominees of an address of Temple Way. Remember, we've already mentioned this. And within there, you've got Jordan's Limited, Oval Sec Limited. That links to previous research. You've also got Osborne Clark. Here's Oval Sec now, just showing it connected. Temple Bank, Temple Key. And we've got Reed Smith Corporation Services linked to them. Reed Smith Corporate Services Limited. Coming up, you can see that this name is featured with Swift Incorporations Limited before. When you look at my other videos, using the same names. Jordan's and Sons, bottom. This person hasn't been registered, even though, I know I keep saying this, but Companies House would have had this form. They should have input the names onto the register. They haven't. This isn't a mistake. This is deliberate. It's happening too many. And you can see, we already know that Marriott's was a tenant of the World Trade Center, and Reed Smith is linked to Marriott Holdings. So you can see the motives here, the amount of changes around it. Now, it also links through to a company called the Abduction Action Against Abduction Incorporated. Sorry, they were appointed. So this person was appointed to this company in 2001, in October, a month, almost to the day of the World Trade Center disaster. They resigned in 2004. I think these people are so drunk on power. Whoever's been running all of this, they've just lost their rational way of thinking. I thought it was interesting. Linked to that abduction company, you have a Stephen McCann. You know, you've already got the. I don't think he's been registered. I can't remember actually. But obviously, you've got the Madeleine McCann companies all linked through to this. I've already put one video on about it, but I will try and put a better document on. The document's already been produced and sent out, but I just need to put the video out. And they're all linked through to this fraudulent system, Swift Incorporations, etc. And then Bank of America through Fiona Church links to Bank of America Healthcare. And Bank of America Healthcare was started up. They had a company name from March until April 2007. Changed their name. And you can see Jordan's Limited on them on the left there. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to go back. Let's move to the top now. So those of you that have this document already, you'll see that this is towards the top of the document, but I thought it'd be important to show you the World Trade Center research from the disaster first, and then show you this instead. So this is now looking at my company that I'm still a shareholder for, and you can see that I'm on there, okay, as having been part of the company in 2009, and then I wasn't resigned. I didn't resign. I was actually voted off because I was identifying this fraud and refused to file the forged bank documents. But this is just to show that I'm attached to it. This is our incorporation documents to show Swift Incorporations and Jordan's Limited. So it's called Exborn Manor Freehold Limited, the company. This is just to show you that Swift Incorporations Limited had an address of Templeback, and it dissolved in November 2023, despite trading since 1985. Obviously, I started reporting the fraud in September 22, and this is showing the incorporation document for it and the name. Remember, we've just mentioned Mavis June Latter. Here it is on Swift Incorporation's incorporation document for their company. Okay, so they're using the same names throughout. This is overwhelming evidence. You've got Jordan and Sons at the bottom. And this is just showing their application to dissolve, which was back in August 2023, and the application included Vistra on it. Okay, you can see how this all links in. So these are my Swift Incorporation's companies' application to dissolve. Looking at Vistra Limited, this is previous research. You can see they had an original name on the register as Jordan and Sons Limited, but the incorporation document is Hamiplag. Okay, that's fraud. So every time this company, Vistra or Swift, is used on any other incorporation document, it's a unregistered company, unlawfully registered. Shaw and Sons Limited. So now we're just looking at Vistra Limited, and Jason Burgoyne is linked to it. I'm not saying Jason is involved directly in any fraud. This is now looking at Vistra's website. Just tells you what they do. Are you ready for a new era of globalization? Lots of suggestions that lots of big things are going to be happening in 2030. They can't happen now. If that plan involves the digitization and removal of cash, then we're in serious trouble. That cannot happen, guys, because this system is linked to all sorts of horrendous stuff. It cannot happen. This just shows that Jason was involved in offshore jurisdictions in relation to Vistra. He's a UK representative, including the Middle East as well. It says in there somewhere, you can look at that later. That's just showing the incorporation. Now we're looking at Shaw and Sons, which was mentioned. Remember, you saw that on the bottom of the document. Remember what this says. What did that say? So you couldn't actually see the full details of the company. You can see that this person's linked to Shaw and Sons. That's interesting. We've got someone with first name Michael, middle name Burgoyne, surname Johnson. Okay. Remember, false details are allowed to be used. Company's House have been allowing it as a crime to use false details. Swift Incorporation is linked to them. Instant companies. Remember Mitchell Lane. We said Mitchell Lane's used throughout the fraud. Shaw and Sons Holdings now we're looking at Limited. Okay, they had a Broomco number. Remember we said this number changes with these. Lots of these companies exist, but Companies House have allowed companies with very similar names to be operating. Shaw and Sons links to DLA Secretarial, and DLA Secretarial now links into loads of Lloyds Bank associated companies. Yeah, see all these Lloyds of America. Lots of links through to SWIFT incorporations, including Lloyds of America. Remember, America gained access to the SWIFT international transaction system after the World Trade Center disaster. Hopefully you will see the information surrounding Michael Todd and Neil Monroe, to apologise. And there is another video on Peter Lawson, who was the Deputy Chief Constable for Lancashire Police in charge of the Nicola Bulley investigation, who had an untimely death at the age of 50. Passed away, God rest his soul, in his home address. So this is research in relation to SWIFT, International Transaction System. You'll see on there somewhere it says that USA gained access after the World Trade Center disaster, and it talks about controversies surrounding this international transaction system and the controversies in relation to its use with Iranian companies, Russian companies, Israeli companies, and Ukraine. Remember, that's linked to the fraudulent system. Samantha Jane Emery, she was employed in 2023 in a top position within the SWIFT International UK Limited Transaction System. Samantha is from the Lloyds Banking Group. Remember, I obtained forged Lloyds Bank documents. I'm not saying Samantha is involved in fraud in any way. They are linked through to Slaughter and May. Now we're looking at SWIFT UK and Ireland Limited. Remember I told you earlier, Graham Monroe was employed from JP Morgan to the SWIFT International Transaction System. Graham Monroe, Neil Monroe. See, SWIFT Incorporations Limited was involved in starting up that SWIFT International Transaction Company. This person has not been registered with SWIFT Incorporations Limited. They're in the research for the International Transaction System. It says that a system such as Target 2 is needed to settle the payment. Okay, you do a search on that, it links through to Eagle Target 2 Limited on the right. Eagle Target 2 links through to Legalinks. Look at Legalinks. Legalinks, as you already saw earlier, links very quickly. I think it's within 3 companies to one of the airline companies that was supposedly used to attack the building, the aeroplane. So we've got Legalinks Limited. This is previous research in relation to Legalinks. It links to PricewaterhouseCoopers. We've already mentioned that. It links through to media research. Most media companies appear to be involved in this fraud, links through to the system of fraud. Legalinks Limited links to Sevenside. Sevenside links to previous research, the main currency producer for the country. And it also links through to BAE Systems and the Nicola Bulley investigation, or the companies surrounding Nicola Bulley. BAE Systems links through to the Association of Chief Police Officers, because it links through Sir Lord Condon. So we're now looking within my company again, and you can see you've got a Deborah Fleming. Remember, we've already mentioned Fleming. Companies linked to all the banks. Deborah Fleming was brought in as a director. In fact, she was the one that wanted to remove me. She put a proposal in to remove me as a director. Herself come in as a director and bring back in a former director who resigned when I wanted to view the authentic bank documents. They resigned, along with the management company and 2 other directors shortly afterwards. All resigned, and yet Deborah Fleming wanted to bring that person back in, and between them all they removed me and filed the forged accounts. Well, that's what the information suggests. Initio Learning, like I've said, everything is documented. They were also friends with the accountant using the forged bank documents for years. This is a company now, Initio Learning, linked to Wimborne. Very sadly, through their documents, it links to the Salisbury Diocesan Board of Education. I'm a Christian. And that company links through to Jordan's and Sons on the bottom left there. Now, I'm not saying Debbie or Deborah is involved in any fraudulent activity. There's other companies now related to Deborah. This is all public information. There's nothing wrong with me showing you this. Deborah was in charge of a £700 million NHS budget, 10,000 staff, oversaw at least 3 hospitals in the south of England around the area of my company. Just looking at the dates actually on the companies here. They've had ample opportunity, okay, all the way through this to discuss this, to be honest about what's been happening. All the authorities have had every opportunity to deal with this rightly. They've chosen not to. I have gone through all of the correct routes to get this done and dealt with properly, and they've refused to do so, probably because they all realise how huge this is. Beechcroft links through. You'll see later that links through to the fostering and adoption agency for the country. Remember, we've got very close links to Ghislaine Maxwell, Max Clifford, Jeffrey Epstein, and therefore Operation U-Tree and Jimmy Savile very closely linked through to this. I mean, this is clear evidence. These people in charge of this system need to be gone. They need to remove themselves peacefully. The game is up, all right? DAC Beechcroft International Limited. We need people that are going to be transparent, open, honest about the governance of this country, honest and transparent about the finances and how they're being used, the taxation system. Okay, this has got to stop. See Beechcroft companies linked through to the London Law Agency on the left there, an unregistered incorporation document linked to Max Clifford. Oh dear. Companies here you can see linked dissolving in 2023 after a reported defraud despite trading since 2020. I'll try not to. What was it? Okay, we're at 33 minutes for this video, so we're probably going to have to stop again. So we're on page 40.